Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here's another deck profile for you guys today. This is actually my Halloween special, and for the first time ever on my channel, I'm going to present to you guys Danger Dark World. I know this deck has actually been requested quite a few times in the past, and I've never gotten around to it till now. First off, I'd like to give shoutouts to my friend Anthony, aka AuraStorm, so just make sure y'all check out his channel. I'll post a link down in the description down below. But anyway, figured I'd just show you guys my own personal build of Danger Dark World. This deck is actually really fun. It has a lot of potential, especially this format. You gotta be careful with cards like Draw and Lockbird though, because this deck does a lot of drawing and it kind of relies on it. But I did adjust the deck in a way to where you can basically combat that weakness and yeah, just go from there. So let's get right to it. So starting off with 2 copies of Grapha. So this is actually one of the best cards in the entire deck. If it's discarded, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. Also, if this card is in your graveyard, you can bounce back one of your monsters, as long as it's a Dark World, except itself. You can special summon this card from the grave. So it's a free level 8 monster, not a hard once per turn. So you can keep looping this as much as you possibly can, and yeah, definitely something to consider. Next up, 3 copies of Brow. So this is basically Pot of Greed. If it's discarded, you get to draw 1 card. If your opponent discards it, you get to draw 2 cards. Now, in general, that wouldn't normally happen, but with Smoke Grenade running around, especially in Inferno Knights, I believe Dragon Link is also running that card. So if you get it discarded, well, hey, more power to you. Next, 3 copies of Beige. This is your primary extender. This card is discarded. You can just special summon it. It doesn't matter who discards it, really. So, yeah. Next up, 3 copies of Snow. Now, this has a really confusing text, so I'll explain it thoroughly. So the one you mainly need to focus on is that if this card is discarded to the grave by a card effect, you get to search any other Dark World card from your deck and add it to your hand. The other effect is that if it's discarded, you get to basically special summon a monster in your opponent's graveyard in face-up defense mode. So now again, that's not generally going to happen a lot, but the one that you should focus on is just the ability to search. So yeah, that's what Snow does. The text is just badly arranged. So just keep that in mind. And that's pretty much it for the Dark World monsters. Now moving on to the Dangers. Starting off with 3 copies of Danger Bigfoot. So it's a level 8 monster. In fact, you're mostly going to be running a lot of the level 8 monsters simply because you want to turn out rank 8 plays. But overall, Bigfoot's also good because it can destroy monsters. Next, we have 3 copies of Thunderbird. This is the one that pops spells and traps. Another level 8 too. So yeah, definitely something to consider. 1 Ogopogo, the only real bad one of the deck. It basically dumps danger monsters to the graveyard. But again, you mainly just want it for the fact that it's a level 8 monster. And the one thing I do like about the dangers in general is that they're all upstart goblins on legs. So if your opponent doesn't discard them, they each get to be special summoned and then you can draw 1 card. Next up, probably my personal favorite of the dangers, 3 Danger Mothman. It's Dark World dealings essentially. So yeah, 3 Mothman, definitely something to consider. Of course, for the one-offs, you got 1 Nessie, 1 Jackalope, 1 Snick, or Tsuchinogo, whatever. And last but not least, 1 Chupacabra, which is basically the monster reborn for danger monsters. And this is not a danger monster, but it's still good because it can easily be discarded, and plus it's a free extender. 1 Zephyros. So yeah, definitely something to try out. I would definitely recommend this package. You know, again, the whole point is just to turbo out all your combos and yeah, go from there. All right, moving on to spells already. Starting off with 3 copies of Dark World Dealings. So like I said, it's just what Mothman does. So draw 1 card, discard a card. And it affects both players too. Next, 3 copies of Drag Down into the Grave. So both players had to reveal their hands and each choose 1 card from their hand, from each other's hands, and discard it, and then both players could draw 1 card. So what I really like about this card is that you not only get hand knowledge, yeah, your opponent gets hand knowledge too, but considering that this deck can easily fix its hands as it goes on, it's a good way to deal with hand traps essentially. So like get rid of Drone Lockbirds, get rid of Nibiru's, anything that your opponent can use to stop you. So like Ciphering Gear Gammas, get rid of them. You know, it's just a replacement for Called by the Grave basically. Next, 3 Allure Darkness. So this is your one of your main draw cards too. Draw 2, and considering the whole deck is dark, you're always guaranteed to resolve this. So yeah, why not, right? And honestly, I was thinking of using Trade-In instead, but I felt that this card was better because Trade-In, you need a level 8 monster. Yeah, you got a bunch of them, but sometimes you don't open up with them half the time. So yeah, Allure Darkness to me was just the better pick of the 2. For the 1-ofs, I'm running 1 Gates of the Dark World. So it's basically another draw card. You discard, well, you banish 1 Fiend monster. That's the cost, and then you get to discard a Fiend monster, not at cost, and then draw 1 card. 1 Pot of Avarice for recursion, 1 Beginning of the End. I was thinking of running more, but I was like, nah, I think 1 is more than enough. If you have 7 or more dark monsters, you get to banish 5 and then draw 3 cards. 1 Card Destruction. Again, the whole point is to not only get hand knowledge, but also get rid of any combo pieces your opponent might need and just kind of like fix up your own hands, essentially. 1 Danger Response Team. So this is basically how you bounce back a danger monster you control and 1 of your opponent's monsters, and it's a good way to out certain things like, let's say, Il-Shadal Winda. This is a good way to do that. 1 Mind Control, you know, for link, just to steal a monster for link material, and it's really easy to get into your 1-ofs. 1 Instant Fusion, you know, you go into Millenniumize Restrict, that basically is a Called by the Grave, and of course I am running 1 copy of Called by the Grave. Now I do complain that the fact that this card is at 1, it feels sacky in certain decks, but for Dark Worlds, it's not too bad because you can easily draw into it. Again, Instant Fusion basically acts as another copy of Called by the Grave because that's what Millenniumize Restrict does. And not to mention, you also have Drag Down into the Grave, which is another Called by the Grave, basically. So, yeah. And for the only trap cards, 3 Infinite Impermanence, which if I open up with them, I usually just set them. If I'm going second, play it, you know? So, yeah, that's generally it for the main deck. Oops, accidentally bumped my camera here. Alright, so now moving on to the extra deck. Starting off with AuraStorm Dragon, you know, this is basically your main OTK piece. 1 Selene, since, you know, you could easily go into 1,000 Ice Restrict also. So 1,000 Ice Restrict with Instant Fusion, and 1,000 Ice Restrict is not a hard one per turn. So you could link it off to make Selene, and then from there you can bring it back, use it again, you know, more spot removal basically. 1 Predaplan Verte Anaconda, Relinquished Anima, a couple Nightmares, Phoenix, Unicorn, the ones I feel like were the best ones. For my Instant Fusion targets, I'm playing Millenniumize and 1,000 Ice Restrict. So, pretty standard. Now, for the rank monsters, I'm actually running number 97 Dragoobleon. So, basically, I like to use this effect to also go into another OTK piece, being number 100 Numeron Dragon. So, you reveal 2 number dragon monsters, special summon 1, and the other becomes 60s material. So, that's just the general idea behind that. 1 number 38 Hope Harbinger, 1 Tachyon Dragon, 1 Prime Photon Dragon, just, you know, mainly is just fodder for materials, basically. 1 Dingirsu, 1 Abyss Dweller, since you do have a few level 4s, and yeah, that's it. Alright, so that's it for the extra deck. Now we're moving on to the side deck. Side deck, you know, it's kind of my usual thing. 3 Nibiru. I'm running Starring Venom on the side in case if I need to use my Super Poly, so 3 Super Poly, 3 Twin Twisters, and of course, can't go wrong with a Harpy's Feather Duster. And then for more cards to deal with back row, 3 Royal Decree and 1 Red Reboot. And yeah, that's it. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this Halloween special. I really had a lot of fun putting this deck together for you guys, and I will catch you guys again next time.